I tracked this antique store Matchbook back to its original restaurant and found some really weird history behind it, involving this strange wooden dummy that apparently predicted every election for over 20 years. Hear me out on this. If you're new here, my name is Matt and I return old lost antique store photos just like this back to their owners, and I've recently started this History of Matchbook series. I found this one in Austin, Texas and traced it back to Galveston. This is Manuel Correa, who opened up the restaurant in the 1970s. Unfortunately, he's since passed, but apparently he was quite the character. Back in the day, you could hit up Correa's Corral and get 4 tacos for $1 or a burrito for 50 cents. What? But what's even crazier is the lore behind the spot, which involves their famous frijoles pole or bean pole. For whatever reason, the owner bought this creepy ass wooden doll that would greet restaurant goers at the front entrance. Apparently it wasn't cheap and his wife was pissed, which is hilarious to me, but it ended up being a pretty good investment in the long run. The reason being, somehow this freak ass dummy predicted every single mayor's race in Galveston, every governor's race in Texas, and every presidential race in the United States for over 20 years. And it was kind of the perfect marketing scheme because you'd come in and buy something and they would give you a bean that you could then drop into a wine bottle with the candidate's name on it. And the night before the election, they would tally up the votes and make their prediction. They were right for over 20 years until they weren't in 1992. In 1992, Don Sancho lost because they predicted that George H.W. Bush would win against Bill Clinton. And guess what? Don was wrong for the first time in 20 years. This owner actually met George H.W. Bush and said, "Hey, I'm the guy who runs the frijoles pole with Don Sancho." And apparently George H.W. Bush knew what he was talking about, looked at him and said, Don was wrong. It was like kind of roasting the guy, which is crazy. And coincidentally, but maybe not coincidentally, in my opinion, is the restaurant closed just a year later in 1993. And ads were placed in the paper for Don Sancho to find a new home. I don't know why, but when I read that shit, it broke my heart. Luckily though, our boy made his triumphant return in 1996 for the presidential election. And apparently Don was wrong yet again. Now I have no clue where Don Sancho's whereabouts are right now. Mama Ninfa's Mexican restaurant in the 90s in Galveston was the last place he was seen. However, they've kind of become a major chain since then, and I noticed this on their menu, and I'd like to believe that this is in honor of Don Sancho. Rest in peace. If anyone has any more information about this wooden dummy, please let me know because I'm so obsessed with this story. Thank you all so much for watching. Love you guys.